Hey everybody, welcome to Olympic Minds Leadership Beyond Limits. I'm Sherry Winn, your podcast host, two-time Olympian, national championship basketball coach, and award-winning speaker and author. This is a podcast for leaders who want to be the visionary of visionaries, the leader of leaders who want to go beyond mediocrity into mastery and beyond success into significance, which is exactly why the people on my podcast are those kind of heart-centered individuals like Steve Ramona. He's the kind of guy that you want to meet, not just because he's going to yield you financial success, but it's driven from the heart. He's heart-centered. He's a super connector. He has a podcast that's 50,000 people listen to. I'm going to aspire to do Steve, like I'm going to channel Steve today. Channel Steve. But the coolest thing about him, like I said, is the authenticity. And I think that when people lead from the heart, then great things occur. So Steve, why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about yourself?
Well, Sherry, thank you for having me on. Your background is huge and I love it. And we'll talk more about that. Big sports guy. That's a big part of my podcast as well. You know, I grew up 18 years old. My family started a health club, been in fitness, sports all my life, or a big part of my life. And I learned that at 18 years old with 40, 50, 60-year-olds are coming in, I had to build a relationship. I had to go, hey, Sherry, welcome to the club. Hey, Sherry, have a great day. But those conversations changed and it became, Tony, how was your grandkid? Did you have it yet? How was your vacation, Jim? But these are people driving Mercedes, and back then this is 78, 80, 85, 90, you know, Mercedes, those kind of cars, which much different than now. Mm-hmm. But I started going to lunch with these guys at 18, 19, 20, and they're giving me tips and helping me. And a real quick story, Tony, who I mentioned earlier, the little short Italian guy, I'm Italian, so he called me Kid. Hey, Kid, how you doing today? I'm like, doing good, Tony, have a great workout. And he came in one day and threw a book. He literally threw a book at me. I had to catch it. It says, he said, read this book. He was a financial advisor who was helping me a little bit with finances. And I'll come back next Tuesday. I'm going to ask you about this book. I said, Tony, I'm going to read. It was a small book. So 19 gave me enough time to read. You know, we're not going to really read. So he came in and he said, what'd you get from the book, Kid? I said, take 10% of my income, which back then was about $3 an hour, because this is 1980. Crazy. And I said, I'm going to do that. It's just, but don't touch it, Kid. Don't touch it. I won't. Move forward 10 years later, I still stayed connected. He had left the club, retired. And I looked at that account. He had $68,000 in the account at 28 years old.
Wow.
Gary, I won the lottery. I was like, what the heck? I had looked at it and like, okay, Tony was on my shoulder. Don't touch it. So I called him. And I said, Tony, thank you so much. Here's what happened. He goes, oh, I'm glad you did it, Kid. You know, you listened. So let me send you $1,000. He goes, first, I'm not in that business anymore because I want to take care of me. I mean, huge.
Right.
He goes, here's the lesson. I'm going to teach you something. I said, go ahead. He goes, when you took my advice, which a lot of my clients didn't, I know one guy probably lost multiple million, hundreds of millions of dollars because he said no to what I was telling him, which is fine. We all have that decision.
Sure.
But you took the advice and ran with it. I know millionaires came through my door because the universe or God, if you're a faith person, said, hey, you took care of Steve. Here's your gift. Here's your reward. I went, holy mackerel, servant heart, giving.
Yep.
And it took off from there because I learned building relationships. And it's a funny story, Coach Sherry. People would laugh at me because I was there 20 years. And they'd go, I'd meet so many people.
Sure.
And they go, Steve, if you ever get married, you're going to have to rent the Oakland Coliseum. You're going to have to push the Warriors out for a day because you're going to have to invite 20,000 people. You know, something that never happened. But I laughed because I'd walk through and just start building it organically. How you doing? And, you know, some more than others. Mm-hmm. But I learned taking that network to my next venture was we sold in 2000. And we started, you know, a friend of mine started a restaurant who was a member of the club, my network. Hey, Steve, why don't you come work for me? I know nothing about a restaurant, but I need a job. We're in 6 months. We were the fastest growing restaurant because I went to that network at the health club and said, hey, come see me here. I'm at this restaurant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're selling food and stuff, but we're lined out the door.
Wow.
He's like, what'd you do? I said, I just invited people. And I kept doing other adventures just because here's the key. And this is leadership that I think is so important. Mm-hmm. Build those relationships with value and a servant heart, which I can feel coming from you, which is so powerful.
Well, what you're talking about is really that connection aspect of not, you don't go with your hand out, give me, give me, give me. And so many people do that. They're throwing stuff at you. You meet somebody on LinkedIn and then all of a sudden they're trying to sell you something. You're like, whoa, time out. Let's just, let's date a little bit. I don't even know who you are. Like you're throwing, like you're already in my bed. I don't want you in my bed yet. I don't even know who you are. But it's a different thing when you understand relationships. And that is, as a college basketball coach for 23 years, I understood the most important thing was relationships with my players. Like we had to, not only did I have to have a connection with them, they had to have a connection with each other. Doesn't mean that they had to literally like be best friends, but we had to have a connection. And so people would often ask me, did you ever have a player that you just couldn't get along with? I said, no. I had players that had the discipline. I had players that were challenging, but it didn't determine the relationship. Because my aim was to have a positive relationship with every single player that I coached. Now, from my end, that was successful. From their end, I can't tell you that's the truth, right? So you're talking about relationships and how key they are. So from the restaurant, where was the next stop that you had going forward?
So I launched, and real quick, I think sports and business are the most beautiful bridge. Mm-hmm. And a little disclaimer, you're here in California, our sports programs are going away. It saddens me. I can't control it. Yeah, we have football programs with 20 kids out there going both ways because I'm afraid, sports and participation trophies. I know it's very controversial, but yeah, we won't go there because I can see here. It's crazy, but, and you're right, building those relationships and not judging. As Ted Lasso says, be curious, not judgmental.
I love that. I love being curious.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. As you get older, it's even better because you get to learn more, which most people don't think you learn when you get older. But then I started a recycling company with technology. And again, Sherry, I took the health club, I took the restaurant network that I met, because I met a number of people who are friends with me today. Hey, remember you did this at the restaurant, which is great. But I said, guys and girls, I have this recycling company. Come drop off your stuff for free. I'll recycle it properly for you. We were at $250,000 in the bank account in 6 months.
Wow.
So there's that ROI bridge of, I got to pay bills. I hear it all the time with businesses I talk to, Sherry. I have expenses. I need money. I got this, I got that. We all have that.
Right.
Serving is free.
Mm-hmm. But it's also that, I think it's the lack mentality, right? When you live in that space, you're not living in what the abundant space is, you're living in the lack space. And so you want to live in that space of, there's always enough, it's going to be provided for me, and the more that I give, the more that I get. So giving and receiving are a cycle. They're not disconnected, and people think it's disconnected. So I don't give because I want to get, but I give with the understanding that is part of the cycle. Like you cannot receive if you don't give. You have to be able to give, and whatever that is you can give, whether that's money or whether that's time or whether that's just your heart or whether it's listening, whatever that is, that's the space. So you went into recycling.
Yeah, you're a true servant. Sorry, I just got to say this. My heart is beating hard here because you're so right on. And I think everybody's doing it, but you said just this morning, LinkedIn, I had this lady, she just sent me a message just now, like, why aren't you buying my product? I'm like, so I'm going to use the bed thing that you said. Keep going. I'm sorry. You're saying so many great things.
Well, I mean, you were talking about a while ago, and I think this is a big thing that we need to go back and revisit. And it was like, be curious, not judgmental. And what we tend to do is we value too much the things that are not valuable. And so what I mean by that, we value judgment, right? We value things like hate, because we spend a lot of time in it. If you don't want to value it, don't spend time in it. And the only way not to do that is to start living in curiosity rather than judgment. I think that we don't understand the power of that. And then people will tell me they're not judgmental. I'm like, oh, we are. Like, I've worked on it for decades and I still do it. I'm like, seriously, stop. So tell me about the power of that. So, when you're doing connections and when you're really connected with people and you're building relationships, it goes back to this idea of just being curious. Like, why judge the individual that you're talking to, but be curious. And so when you're curious, that changes the conversation, doesn't it?
Immensely. And let's use sales. We all need to sell. We all need to make money. That shouldn't be your forefront. Serving before selling, transformational, not transactional. Mm-hmm. That will come. And when you're talking to people and you're curious, I have this principle I came up with. It's the ASLA principle. It's funny when I say it, every time I say it. ASLA, ASLA principle.
Okay.
Ask, be curious. I could ask, slant, I forget what the symbol, but that slant, ask curious, shut up, and I mean shut up, listen, and ask curious again. Because when you ask a question, you're being curious. But to be curious, you have to shut up and listen. And people go, well, wait a minute, Steve, I talk about this all the time. I'm shutting up. Am I listening? Here's the perfect image. We've all been in multiple Zoom rooms, 4, 5, 10, 20 people, but some of the screens go black. Going to the bathroom, going to answer the door, the dog's bark, whatever. I'm not being judgmental, but let's really think about it. Is that black screen, if that person's gone, are they listening? They can't hear it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Ask that question and shut up and listen and ask another question, and your curiosity starts growing. Oh my God, Sherry. Right away, I'm going to ask, 23 years as a coach, God bless you. What did you feel about that? What was your empathy? There's so many questions that come from that. I learned about you, not all of it, but I learned a little about you in a couple minutes. When you're doing that with a potential client or partner, business partner, it's powerful. Well, you said this, and you said it before the podcast, which is so powerful. I'm going to take notes. I do the same thing because we're being curious. Yeah. But here's the power of being curious. I can take all those resources, especially some you've given me today, and when I talk to other people, I share it with them. It's the ultimate gift of life. Yep. Hey, I learned from Coach Sherry. She's 23 years a basketball coach, that she had a relationship with everybody she met with. Can't you do that with your 5 clients? Yeah.
Well, it's hard. I don't think I was good at it early, because when I was early, I think when we're early into whatever we're doing, we have this thing that we need to achieve. We've got to reach certain milestones. We have to do this. We have to do that. And then I think eventually, maybe not all people, but a lot of people go, wait a second, I'm achieving all this, I'm getting all this, and it feels empty. I don't feel like I've got the accolades, I've got the titles, I've got the honors, I've got the money, I've got whatever it is. I still feel empty. And that's the moment I think that people turn to, okay, well, there's got to be more. So what does the more look like? Well, the more looks like is that connection you're talking about, is really connecting people. And that's when the place where it starts that, when you really become a servant leader, it's not about you anymore. And it is at a certain level, because we're all self-centered, but it becomes more about the people around you, and it becomes less about you, because you're recognizing, even in this moment, you're like, oh my gosh, that person, when they do this, they're achieving, and I feel good for them. I'm part of that, and not that I claim somebody else's success, but I feel good for them. I feel a part of their success. And I think that it just takes a while to grow up. It takes a while for us to understand that all the things we thought were going to make us fulfilled don't. It's when you get to the place you're at, when you're walking around saying, how can I support you, and what can I give you, and how can I help you along the journey, that things start feeling different inside you. And before, it's just one empty accolade to another one.
Yeah, and here's the power of curiosity. I'm going to use you as a great example. 20 years coaching, you've learned it all. You had that. As you said, it took a lot to learn, but now a young 25-year-old coach, 30-year-old coach can come to you if they're curious, and you can flatten that curve for them. Like what you just said, all my players, I made sure I was not judgmental. If they just learn that, you flatten the curve. And George Raveling, I know you've heard of him, who, rest in peace, just passed away. I read his book, and I have it on my computer. It says, what can I do for you? He asked everybody he met.
Yeah.
Talk about a servant heart. And that's what I do before I came on the show. How can I make Sherry's podcast better? Yeah. Well, energy, did my little prayer, did okay, this is what she does. And we're having a great podcast. I'm going to be very bold and honest, because you know why? Where passion is coming out. We're passionate about helping people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the whole difference, Steve. I think that you can feel that. When somebody's coming up to you, and you can feel the energy. Energy, people feel energy whether they know it or not. We all feel it. We feel if you don't think you feel energy, remember when you walked into a room and you could tell that two people have been fighting, and you're like, you can sense it, and you're like, oh no, 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 no. And you walk out, you're like, oh no, don't want to be a part of that. Even if there's nothing being said, you can feel the energy. Well, the same is true. You can feel the energy of somebody who's truly there to give, or somebody who's just using it as a front to get what they want. There's a different sense of energy around that person. So, when you meet people and you feel that good energy, not only do you want to do business, you just want to be around them. You just want to be like, can I just hang out in your space? I just want to be here and feel some of this goodness that you're offering. And so that energy thing is one of the things that connect people too, is they want to feel good. And so if you're emitting joy and peace and serenity and happiness and passion, then people feel that and they just want to be aligned with it, whether they can name that or not.
So true. It changes the room. How many times when that one person walks into a room, let's use sports, Michael Jordan walks into the room, his accolade, it changes the room.
Mm-hmm.
That energy is subtle because we know everything he's done. We all can do that, not at that level, but we can be with the energy. And I've got so many testimonials of calls I've been on, one-on-one discovery calls. They're like, the best call I've been on. Oh my God, Steve, you gave me so many tips. And I used to not say it because I'm afraid of my ego. And here's my ego, empowering greater outcomes. That's what I'm proud of without being paid. Mark Hunter, shout out to him, one of the top sales guys in the world, who's a guest on my podcast, said that. And it's wonderful. I mean, I could tell you a story of a lady. I do a lot of introduction. I'll do 2,300 this year. Last year I did 1,800 referrals. A lot, hundreds a month. Because I've got a wide network. Yeah, it's crazy.
I did a lot, and I was like, 1,800 referrals. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
18 for most people have been like, oh, wow, you did 18. You're talking about 18.
We're cheering them on. Yeah, I've done, and it's just, again, the servant's heart. People go, how can I do it? Keep meeting people.
Yeah.
And real quick, I introduced this one of the 1,800 last year. Sent her 3 introductions, and it took her 6 weeks, and she didn't respond to them. I'm like, that's not the way to do this. But again, curious, not judgmental.
Right.
Curious. I wonder what's going on. Well, I get this email. Hey, I finally met all 3 of these people. But Steve, you don't know. My 2 sons, who are twins, are special needs big time. I've been struggling for years, me and my husband, how we're going to pay for it, how we're going to take care of them. And those 3 people you connected me with have changed our life. We now have found grants and funding and resources that, it's given me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to get that? And all it was a 45-minute call of, hey, learning about her, being curious. Let's go back to that theme. And here's a couple, 2 or 3 introductions. That's the power we all have.
Yeah.
Sherry, me and you are not special, but you know why we're special? We take action.
Well, I think everybody's special, but the difference is they don't know that they are. So,
true too.
Until you know that you are, then you behave as if you're not. And so you have to know that you are. And so you were talking about the ego, and I love that empowering greater outcome idea, that ego, because I struggled with the same thing early on. It's like, well, I don't want to tell people that I'm a 2-time Olympian and blah, blah. I feel like I'm bragging. But it's not bragging if it's from confidence, because you can only get humility from confidence. And so if you're not confident, you can't be humble, because then you're arrogant or you're conceited because you're begging for attention. But if it's just part of the story. So now I don't hesitate. If it's a part of the story, I used to not even tell stories from all those years that I was training. I wouldn't tell anybody a story because I didn't want to sound like, oh my gosh, she's trying to tell us how great she is again. But it's a story I lived, and so I have the right to share that story. But how I share the story is a difference, right? It's just from a position of, matter of fact, this is something that occurred, this is something that happened. It's not from the ego, which is begging for attention. And so when you understand the ego and you can get out of your ego and really into that servant mentality, everything shifts.
You put a lot of sweat and tears into that. I'm guessing I know I'm right. A lot of hours, late night. That needs to be recognized.
Mm-hmm.
When you say 23 years, a lot of work. I've seen some of these documentaries, the one about the United States, a lot of work involved. Mm-hmm. We forget, and again, it's a presentation too. You could go to a coach and tell them all that and go, you know what, XYZ coach, you suck because here's what I've done. And you're not, that's the wrong way to do it. Instead of, hey, here's what I've done. Let me mentor you. Let me serve you to help you. Hands keep going up. We're so excited.
You raised your hand. You're like raising his head. He's like, oh, telling people. So I coached college ball for 23 years, and then the last 12, 13, I've been in coaching, CEOs and C-suite executives. It's the same thing. I mean, I don't want to. We're still people, right? And so a team is still a team. The dynamics of the team are the same. If you're the leader of a team, you're still that dynamic of that is the same. And so it's just transferring that kind of mentality from the court to the boardroom, the court to the corporation, but it's the same mentality. It's all the things that we've been talking about right now. There is not a lot of difference. Of course, I can't tell the CEOs you got to make your team run. That just it doesn't work out very well. On the line, get on the line. Just doesn't work anymore. You can't do that.
Well, maybe you can. Maybe we can try a new leadership technique. I'm kidding, but half kidding.
But the discipline aspect is still there. I mean, people are afraid to discipline. And they're afraid to be honest. And it doesn't mean like brutal in your face honesty, but it does mean, people need to hear the truth, because you can't change if you don't know what the truth is, and you have to be able to share that. And so, So tell me more about, how did you get to your podcast? So you kind of taken me through a part of your life. You've explained, how everything shifts from the one to the next because of these great relationships that you built. So how did you get to the podcast?
Last about 15 years, I've done about $100 million in partnerships. Again, it's the ego that I just gave you, because I put people together, but I never asked for money, which I should have. I mean, now I do, and I'm making multiple millions because I learned that lesson. Speaking of curve.
Well, there's nothing wrong with making money. So that's the thing that people have to understand. You can make money and still be a servant. And so a lot of people think that they're separate, that you have to be poor and in poverty to serve. And no. So that's a good lesson. So tell me about the lesson. How did you learn that lesson? Because I think that people need to hear that we all have lessons to learn. And so you're giving, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, how did that occur?
Yeah. Well, being broke, having debt didn't help. Let's be very honest. So I'll be very transparent. But I met a gentleman, Sherry. This is why I love the curious. I love this theme here. He was talking about his business, learning about what he's doing. I'm like, this guy's killing it. He's making $1 million. So I don't ask usually, but I said, Jim, what do you make a year? He goes, we just hit the 250 million this year. I went, wow. Can you tell me your secret sauce? He goes, well, Steve, I liked talking to you. I want to talk to you because you're a servant. I could tell. I've heard stories about you, what you do. But I serve. I wake up in the morning. Who am I going to serve today and how? Through my day, I'm serving my competitors. Ding, ding, ding. Competitors. My staff, my board. As you know, you work with CEOs, all those across the board. Then I go to bed, make sure I'm serving. But I also ask, hey, competitor, I got you this client because we couldn't help them. If you have anybody that fits our business, I'd love an introduction. He says, I get those all the time from competitors because we do a little bit different things. I said, 250 million? He goes, yeah. And I tell them, I explain to them what I do. Hey, I do an introduction. I put my literally hand up, go, no, I'm good. I gave you 3 introductions. Enjoy them. And he goes, Steve, never put your hand up like that because that's the stop sign. Yeah. And consciously people aren't thinking about it, but subconsciously is like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then he said something. He said, Steve, and audience, listen to this. He said, you turn those people into takers. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just gave him stuff. He goes, Steve, here's the thing about humans. Consciously, they're not saying, what an a-hole. God, what a human, he wouldn't take my help. But their subconscious goes, he wouldn't let me help him. He gave me all these gifts. I want to give the gifts back. It's not everybody, but a lot of people. Yeah. So that's what you're doing subconsciously. When they walk away, they just don't remember you. And I changed the next week and things started taking off. And that's when the podcast came to me, October 2022, because I wanted to serve my clients at the time and promote them. But then when I get done promoting them and doing a great job on a podcast, I can ask, hey, I need some help here. Do you know anybody that can help me? And a little tip, audience, refer through people, not at them. Don't go, Sherry, hey, you need my business. No. Go, Sherry, do you know anybody in your network that's a lawyer? I'm making this up. I'd love to help them. And people I get 3 to 5 referrals daily for the last 2 years. I could probably look at my email because one, taking care of people, but the ask. So when you ask, it's so powerful because people open to do it. Absolutely, Steve. I'd love to help you. Mm-hmm. Well, now that warm referral becomes a hot referral. Because what are they going to do, Sherry? You know what they're going to do. They go, you got to meet the Steve guy. He can really help you. Oh my God, it's a guy you need to meet.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting that it goes back to, you have to give to get, right? I mean, that's part of the thing. But it also comes to that, I think the ego part, which the ego part early, when you didn't understand the ego, was like, I gave and that's it. No, don't help me like that. But that's ego. That's truly ego when you're not allowing people to give back to you. That is ego. You can only receive when you let go of the ego, because the ego is proud, right? The ego, and underneath pride is that insecurity, it's the arrogance, and so you have to let it go. And I remember, Steve, when I was so proud. Oh man, I was proud. Like, nope. I get mad at people open the door for me. I can open the door. I got it. I was just so like everything had to be me. And that was, I didn't learn how to accept until I got chronic pain. I turned 35, I developed chronic pain. I had chronic pain for years. And I had to learn. I mean, it's one of those things that's the worst thing that ever happened to you, and then becomes the best thing that ever happened to you, like years down the road. But it helped me learn. Like I had to ask for help. I needed to ask for support. I needed to ask people to do things for me. And they all like joyfully gave. And it made them feel better because they were able to do something for me. And so it's understanding that. And so many people, I grew up in this thing where I watched people that would go to dinner with my family. And so it'd be like my family and maybe two others. And the men would fight over who was going to pay the bill. I got it. No. And they would fight. And nobody would say just, hey, thank you. That was so kind of you. I appreciate you. I'll get it maybe in the future. They literally fought over this thing. And so I think that the lesson is, look, we have to be able to receive too. Not just give, but that receiving part. It goes back to that cycle of learning to connect the two, because they are connected. And so if you separate one of them, you don't get the benefit of the whole cycle.
Well, have I met you before? We must have met somewhere, because you just described me. I used to do that all the time. Hey, and now it's like my wife's going, oh, you pay. No, let them pay. And they're more than happy to, and we'll get them next time, and there'll be an opportunity to be able to give to them. And right. I got to tell you, Sherry, I've been on 300 podcasts, and you're one of the best hosts, because your answer to my story I told you about ego, I didn't even think about that. That's exactly what I was doing. Subconsciously, I wasn't consciously going, boo, Steve, but my ego was, my God, you just enlightened me. I thank you so much. And I can share that now with others. That's why I love doing podcasts, both sides of this. So thank you. That was wonderful.
Well, it's so amazing how much we can grow if we allow ourselves to. But if you're in the ego, you can't grow because you already know it. You have to be right. You're not open to listening. You're certainly not open to be curious, because that's one of the things you talked about in your ASLA thing, is you had to be open to be curious. You had to be open to shut up. You had to be open to listening. And with people with ego, and this part of what I see a lot of people who they're fighting about the need to be right. And I'm like, what's behind the need to be right? And they'll be like, but I'm right. And I go, well, so who cares? Who cares besides you? Who cares?
Nobody. Yeah, and I think I did it a long time in my life, because I had family that was always, I was the athlete of the family. Mm-hmm. So I was not very smart, the C's. I got C's. Yeah, Steve got a C today. He scored. And they weren't. And my dad really, to be honest, was closer to me because he loved sports. And my uncle played for the New York Giants. So, we kind of led that way. Mm-hmm. And I realized that for me to show up, I had to make up stuff. And it was just the worst thing. I'm being very transparent, and I love doing it because I did the wrong things. And I'm 64 now, and I can share that with others. I tell you, people 25 to 40, you have such a great opportunity to talk to people like us. Mm-hmm. In that age bracket. You're probably at 45, so she's a little young.
Right there. I'm right there.
She's 45
times 20 plus 20.
We don't ask women ages, so I'm not gonna. But it's such if they're open to it. That's the big thing. You've got to be open to it. Now I am, and thank you for sharing that.
Well, when the student is ready, right? When the student's ready, the teacher appears. If you're not ready, you might have 6, 7, 20 teachers, and you didn't hear any of them. but they're always going to come back. I really believe that when you're ready, there's always going to be another teacher in your life. You have to be ready to listen. And so when we're not ready, then we could get all the information, all the advice, everything we need, but everything passes through us because we're just not at that point of being ready. And so that takes, I just think it takes that, that wisdom, which is of course, your experience plus knowledge is the only way you can get to wisdom. So there's no shortcut to wisdom. You can have knowledge, right? But you can't get to wisdom because you have to have the experiences stacked on one another and then learn from them. Now, some people never, ever choose to learn, right? So their choice is to get bitter. And you've probably met some of those people that just choose to get bitter instead of getting better, right? Yeah. So if somebody Steve, if somebody said, man, I really want to meet this Steve guy, he's so cool. Well, how would they meet you? I mean, I know they don't want to send you a LinkedIn message and try to sell you something on the first message. But how would you go about meeting? So you meet a cool guy, and we always hear that thing that says, you're defined by your 5 best friends or the 5 people you hang around the most. And so there's a lot of people like me when I was younger going, well, how do I get to those people? I don't know them. And there's people out there that I want to aspire to be, but they're up here and I'm down here, like in my mind, like that's not really true.
Yeah.
But you're judging. I'm very curious. You're judging. So how would somebody get to somebody like you and just to say, hey, Steve, how are you? Just want to meet with you. Love to have a conversation. How would they do that in such a way that you go, oh, let's do it?
People that want to meet people that are more successful, and there are people more successful than me that I've met through my podcast that have helped me grow, is I mentor all the time and tell people, you have a leads problem, you need more business, you need to meet more people. You're in the people asset business. What do you do with assets? You got to feed them. In this case, build a relationship. But you got to go out and meet them. Meaning, I say 10 people every week. If you meet 10 people every week, you're going to grow your network. I don't care if you start with 1, 100,000, it's going to grow. And I'll give you a quick story. 2020, before the pandemic, January, I was part owner of a digital business card company, and I was a sales guy. So I woke up on a Monday and I said, I've got to meet more people. My network knows all about this. I need to expand it to make sales. Mm-hmm. So I went to 20 networking meetings a week. I found this group and all these people. I started meeting people. 6 to 7 weeks, I was the top sales guy in the company, and I met 350 people.
350 people in just 6 or 7 weeks of time. And then you became the top salesperson. And it was really it wasn't about the sales technique. That's what I'm hearing. It's not as much the sales techniques as it was the connection. Like just connecting and making people feel like, hey, I'm just here for you. How can I help you? How can I support you? In what ways can I, help you move your business forward versus an angle. Like you can always feel that angle, can't you? Like when somebody's talking to you and they have an underlying agenda. I mean, it's like, I almost just want to go time out. Just tell me what you think you want from me. Yeah. Like, let's not have a conversation because it doesn't feel like it's going to be organic.
No, yeah. And people are doing and you probably get like I do. Hey, Sherry, you need help with your podcast. You're doing this, and wrong. Let me build your podcast. Audience, never start with a negative thing. Yeah. It rubs people wrong. It just does. What did I start with? I love your background. I was telling, I'll tell the audience, I love it. We started talking off that. Yep. That was a question, it's kind of a question, but a comment that led to a question. If I came in and said, Sherry, that's one of the worst backgrounds I've ever seen. You really going to do the podcast with that? It's crazy, but there are people that do that.
I know. I've
never seen them, but I know other stories of that. Negativity never works anywhere.
Nope.
If you got a negative thing, shut it up. Shut it up. Just shut up. The funny thing is those 350 people, Sherry, I only met 75 to 100 people. Hey, how can I help you? Oh, by the way, Steve, you need to meet this person. Mm-hmm. So 10 turns into 20 next week, turns into 30, 35, because of those 10, 2 gave me referrals. Mm-hmm. Next week of those 10, 5 gave me referrals. Wow. And then I got to meet those people with the referrals and do the same thing and get to know them, see how I can help them, see how they can help me by serving them. It's magical.
And the thing that you talked about, it was like, if you can understand that it's really a gift when you ask, like that's a gift. If you can get that in your head, because I think people are afraid to ask because they feel like they're taking. But you got to remember it's a gift, because how many times have you tried to give a gift to somebody and they're like, no? And then you feel like horrible because you were bought a gift, you went and, like maybe it's Christmas or whatever. You went and you searched and you tried to find the right thing. And then you try to give them the gift. They're like, no, don't give me a gift. Don't give me a gift. That's too much. And you're like, I just spent hours trying to thinking of you, researching for you, because I wanted the pleasure of giving to you. And they're like, no. And so we have to remember how that feels, is that there is also in the giving of something, there is this aspect of when somebody receives it with great joy, right? There's those two aspects. Like, you have to understand that giving, that people want to give, and then it makes them feel good to give. And so by asking, you're just allowing that gift to come through from somebody.
Yeah. I use this image so people, and this emotion, think of Christmas. You're 7 years old. You get up earlier than your parents, earlier than you ever done. You have kids. Yeah, I don't have kids, but my wife used to tell me same things. We were kids, so we did it. And you run to the tree, and there's that bike, the gift you're just talking about, they've always wanted. How did you feel?
Mm-hmm.
You felt great. That's what we get to do when we serve people.
Right.
Is think of that motion, and that's what happens. And the ask part is, I've never had anybody go, when I've asked something after a podcast, I need help here, go, Steve, you're the biggest a-hole in the world. Why would you even ask me that? Not once. I've done 850 shows. Not once. So I've got a track record of talking to people and count all the other times I've met people and say, hey, I need help. And if they ever did, in my head, I say next.
Yeah.
The next person we get to serve that I get to ask. And I love how you put that, because you put it so eloquently.
Well, it's getting over that fear that we're taking, because you're really not. I mean, I had a friend not very long ago. Her husband he fell off a bike, hit his head, had a traumatic brain injury from hitting his head. And so I kept saying, hey, let us bring you some food. Let us help you out. In what ways can we support you? She's like, no. Finally, I said, we're coming over and we're bringing you some food. We're going to bring you dinner tonight. I'm just doing it. And I got there and they're like, oh my gosh, so thankful. I've just been so exhausted and, taking care of him. And I've been so anxious. And I said, I'm here for you. But I don't want to, I just feel so bad asking. I go, the same kind of conversation we just had. I'm like, this is a gift. I want to give it to you. I want to be here for you. This is a part of what I want to do. And it was just so funny because and I'm like, why would you not receive? Well, I feel bad taking. You're not taking, I'm offering. But it goes back just the idea of really understanding that, that when somebody wants to give to you, you're not taking because they're offering. They want the give. I mean, how many times have we just not been in that situation of understanding that? And I certainly didn't understand it when I was young. Now I don't feel bad. Somebody offers me something, I'm like, thank you. I mean, I'm genuine. I make sure that they know, thank you very much. This is so kind of you. It's so sweet of you. I appreciate you. I don't overdo it, but I do let them know, that was such a special gift that they took the time to do.
Yeah, and it's you mentioned the thing about bringing food. It's a perfect story where you go, hey, let me bring you some food. If they go, and this is how you should respond to you on the other side, I've got enough food right now, but can you help us with this? That's the magic of serving. Can you take me to work tomorrow, or whatever the way you can serve, and be open to that. Don't be stuck on, hey, I just made you lasagna for you because you're cooking and they can't take it. Mm-hmm. Go, how can any other way I can help you?
Yeah.
Not today, but I'll reach out. That's fine.
Yeah, and it's not to take, and then you don't take it personal. If they have the ability to say, that's not what I need, you don't get all upset about it. You go, oh, okay, well, in what ways can I support you? Is there something else I can do for you? What would make more sense to you? And so many people get all up in arms, and they take things too personal too many times. I don't know how many clients I've worked with this whole thing about taking things personal, and how it literally takes, they cannot have joy when they're dependent on somebody else's words to make them happy, and they spend a lot of their life upset. I'm like, why would you be upset because somebody tells you no, or somebody says to you, not right now, or thank you, but later? Well, I offered this to them. I'm like, it's not about you. Hello.
No. Hello. Wake up a little bit. Oh, I love it. Now that I think of it, that's hilarious.
So Steve, tell people more about how you do your work, how you connect. Let them know more about, what you do with your business, so that they understand if they really want to be that person that helps you how can they contact you? Tell them more about the business that you run, and then the ways to get in touch with you.
Thank you, Sherry, for saying that. And the podcast is Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. You can search it, subscribe to it, because I think, like Sherry's podcast, these links are gifts. Mm-hmm. I say at the end of all my podcasts, taking a gift, and you listen to somebody going, you need to listen to Steve or you need to listen to Sherry. They said something that could really help you. Mm-hmm. You just served them. That's what I think podcasts are so wonderful. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and subscribe, and I've got wonderful guests. Like I said, I just hit 850 shows, and there's a lot of people with great stories, great resources and tips. And I'm going to put this out publicly. Sherry's going to be on my show. I kind of put her on the spot here, but I'd love to have her on. This is going to be wonderful. I also have a renewable energy company. We're building 2 smart cities, one in Nevada and one in California. It's massive. Cool. It's $1 billion project. And we're helping bring power back because we're running out of power here. Well, look what happened to your internet. And websites went down last week, and power is very sparse right now. Mm-hmm. And we're getting landowners. If you know anybody's a landowner, love to talk to them and see if I can bring revenue to them, but bring power to the United States and to the world. Because we had 2 countries lose power, Spain and Portugal this year. For 24 hours, the whole country went out. Imagine if it happened in the United States with financial and all these different things. It's crazy. So that came from my podcast, which is why I love podcasting, being curious and learning from billionaires, millionaires, rich people, how they did it. And I always tell people this: learn from the people that have done better than you. The people that are struggling right now, serve and mentor the hell out of them. Give your stuff away for free. Mm-hmm. And for example, I do a free podcast workshop every month for free. I have 10 to 12, 20 people come, give them updates, and I help them with their podcast. I have some people really growing their podcast.
Awesome.
I also do business mentoring every other Monday for people, entrepreneurs who want to learn. I come in and, just help them a little bit so they can go to people like Coach Sherry, where she can take your business and blow it up. So I love getting that stepping stone, especially for entrepreneurs and people that are interested in getting in that. It's just the way of the world. We need to help each other.
So how do people find you? So if they wanted to do anything, like any of the things you're offering right now, how do they find you? How do they connect?
Steve Ramona, Ramona on LinkedIn. I'm always on there. I think we're connected because we got a lot. We're going to partner up and do some great things together.
Oh, I love
it. Feel it. Email me, stevr1961@gmail. That's Steve, my first initial, last name, R, stevr1961@gmail.com.
Folks, you get an opportunity every once in a while to meet people that are just they're world changers. They shift energy, they shift people. They help when you think about it used to be the beauty pageant and people walk across, bring us world peace. I was there like, but there are people like Steve that are actually doing this. And so you want to connect with him, you want to go find what he's doing, you want to listen to his podcast, you want to be a part of that. So please, please, please take right now, go do it, go figure it, go find Steve and connect, because you want to be one of those people, they're world changers, right? You want to be one.
So I want to add one more thing, because you just got me super fired up. I'm so fired up about this show. So audience, the first 3 people that subscribe to her YouTube channel or her podcast or both, I will send you a book. A friend of mine wrote the most powerful, successful book I've ever read that's changed my life. So tell Sherry, you subscribe, message her whatever way you do and said, hey, I heard your podcast with Steve Ramona, and I will send you a free book, because we need more people to see you.
Woo, woo, woo. So I'll tell people they can figure out where I'm at, but you know me at Sherry at thewinningleadershipcompany.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn at The Winning Leadership Company. So Steve, this was amazing. I had so much fun. This is the kind of thing that lightens up my world. It lightens up my day. It brings joy into my heart. So thank you for being the person that you are and doing what you do. Please, 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 everybody, make sure that you share this, you subscribe, and go find Steve. Go find Steve. Everybody, have a winning day. Bye now.